When architect Daniel Harper built his dream lake house, he envisioned tranquility, not conflict. But one HOA president had other ideas that involved bulldozers, fabricated rules, and a vendetta against a home she couldn't control. What unfolded was a battle neither side anticipated. I've always believed the right space can transform everything. Maybe that's the architect in me. For years, I dreamed of crafting a place that wasn't just a design on paper but a sanctuary of peace. That dream came to life last year when I bought a secluded lakefront lot an hour outside the city. It wasn't tied to any subdivision or homeowners association, just a quiet, private slice of land with pine trees, birdsong, and a view that could erase any rough day. The property was zoned residential, free of encumbrances or shared roads, with a clean title in my name. I followed every official step, secured permits, and started building a modest summer retreat. Nothing extravagant, just a minimalist cabin with big windows, a shaded porch, a standalone grill patio, and enough space for my wife and me to enjoy weekends, maybe with a friend or two. I designed it to blend into the landscape, using natural wood and muted colors, a low-profile escape from the chaos where I could read, sketch, grill a burger, or sip coffee as the fog drifted off the lake. Security wasn't an afterthought. Having worked on high-end homes, I knew peace could be fragile. I installed motion-activated floodlights, weatherproof cameras covering every angle, a smart alarm linked to my phone, and a backup generator for outages. I wanted it cozy yet self-sufficient. Everything was falling into place until I met Susan. The neighboring property across a small access road belonged to an upscale lakeside community, the kind with uniform houses, trimmed hedges, and rulebooks in glossy binders. It didn't concern me. I wasn't part of their HOA or within their boundaries. But that didn't stop their president, Susan Mitchell, from acting like my land was her personal crusade. Our first encounter came on a Tuesday morning while I was staining the deck railings. I'd just poured coffee from my thermos, admiring how the stain matched the siding, when I heard sharp footsteps on gravel. A woman strode across the road, mid-50s, rigid posture, wearing a tailored polo with her HOA logo stitched on it, clipboard in hand like a weapon. She didn't smile or introduce herself, just stopped short of my property line and scowled as if I'd offended her existence. "What's this supposed to be?" she demanded, viewing at my house with a tone reserved for something unpleasant. "It's a summer home," I said politely. "Built it myself. Permits are all in order if that's your concern." Susan huffed, flipping through her clipboard like she'd find a violation to pin on me. "You didn't consult our architectural committee. There's a process, colors, materials, elevation." I blinked. "I'm not in your community. This land isn't under your HOA." Her jaw tightened. "That doesn't matter. This affects our shoreline's visual harmony. That cedar's unfinished grade, and your railing's non-compliant." "Relax," I said, leaning on the rail she despised. "I've read your charter out of curiosity. My property's outside your jurisdiction. I confirmed it with the county before buying." Susan's eyes narrowed. "So you're just going to stick this thing in our scenic view like it's a campsite?" I smiled faintly. "Pretty much." She went silent, fuming, then delivered the line that sparked a war. "Make it match, or it's going to be a problem." I figured she was just venting. People like her usually move on to the next petty fight. But this wasn't a one-off. 2 days later, a letter appeared, wedged in my doorframe, HOA logo blazing in red. It accused me of violating aesthetic standards, obstructing VIUs, and skipping design re-VIUs. I laughed, recycled it, and kept working on my patio. Then came the email. Simone, guess who, had found my firm's public inbox, sending aggressive threats to escalate to the city if I didn't comply. I preempted it, gathering my deed, zoning maps, permits, and a lawyer's letter proving I was beyond their reach, then dropped copies at their office. The receptionist avoided eye contact, but I kept it while just a misunderstanding, I said. A week of silence followed. I thought it was over. Then the real trouble started. Flyers popped up near my property one morning, stapled to trees and poles, illegal structure on the lake, manned action, with a blurry photo of my house, likely snapped from a kayak. I caught Susan across the street one day, snapping pictures like a detective. When I waved from the porch, she bolted, pretending she hadn't been there. Next came fake complaints. Code enforcement VY cited twice in a month, first for tool noise, then for chemical runoff from staining I wasn't even doing. The inspectors were professional, even apologetic, one muttering, "We get a lot of the sesame caller, no issue." I knew who it was. I beefed up security motion alerts, remote feeds, a voice system announcing, "This is private land. You're being recorded. Law enforcement's been notified." I didn't want to fight, but I wouldn't back down. Neither would Susan. It went down on a Thursday just before noon. I was in town grabbing client windows when my phone buzzed perimeter breach alert, then a camera feed. Expecting wildlife, I saw a bulldozer tearing through my trees, dust swirling, with Susan and three men, two in vests, one with a clipboard watching like it was a planned demo. She stood arms crossed as the blade rose. "No," I muttered, scrambling for my keys. The feed showed it smash my deck with splintering, Susan yelling, "Keep going, take it down cleanly. It's not permitted." I floored my truck, called 911, and streamed the feed. "This is Daniel Harper," I told the dispatcher. "Someone's bulldozing my property at 157 Lakeside Road. I've got VYDOIT's legal permitted." "They're trespassing. They're demolishing it now?" she asked, alarmed. "Yes, and it's not authorized." I raced back as the feed showed my porch gone, the house sagging, Susan directing like it was her show till sheriff's cars rolled in, lights flashing. I arrived to a wreck, half my house collapsed, porch obliterated, dust thick. Two deputies were on scene, one questioning a worker, the other photographing the carnage. Susan was mid-lecture, gesturing wildly. I approached, ID up. "I'm Daniel Harper, the owner." The photo-taking deputy turned. "You called it in?" "Yes, and I've got everything, deed, permits, VYDO, even audio of her planning this." Susan spun, faltering. "You weren't supposed to be here." The deputy raised an eyebrow. "He says it's his land." She backtracked. "It ruins our VYUs. It's non-compliant." "You own this?" the deputy asked her. "No, I'm HOA president. It impacts our shoreline." "Got a demolition order?" "No, but that's a no," he cut in. I handed over my proof, surveys, permits, footage of the bulldozer hitting, Susan's voice from an HOA meeting. "If he won't remove it, we will." The deputy nodded to his partner. "Ma'am, you're under arrest, property destruction, trespass, unlicensed demolition." Susan gaped. "This was blight." "It's a felony," he replied, cuffing her as a neighbor filmed it live. The aftermath was chaos, statements, paperwork, Karen in a cruiser, hair frizzing, silent. The workers claimed they thought it was legit. The site manager had no permits. All were charged Susan with felonies, the others with lesser counts. Neighbors emerged, some supportive, one saying, "About time she stopped." My house was rubble, but seeing her cuffed where she'd reigned felt oddly satisfying. The story exploded local news, then national. HOA president bulldozes private home, pays price. My lawyer Emily Stone filed a due law $250,000 suit, destruction, trespass, distress. Susan's high-price firm flailed, claiming I provoked her. The trial was a circus-backed courtroom, my calm testimony, her shaky excuses. The jury awarded me the full amount, the judge slamming her arrogance. She was ousted from the HOA, faded away after a failed countersuit. I rebuilt bigger, bolder, with top-tier security and a sign, "No trespassing. No HOA." Bulldozers met with police. It's a local icon now. Saturdays I sip coffee on my new porch, lake shimmering, peace reclaimed, and this time it's mine to keep.